In the shadow of the increasingly horrifying Diddy controversy, a barely known celebrity power couple was broken apart. Jennifer Lopez, henceforth J-Lo, filed for divorce from her husband Ben Affleck in August of this year, something which many had seen coming as they hadn't been seen together for months, and it seemed that they were slowly drifting apart. But it does seem that a simple falling out of love may not be the full story. It's no secret J-Lo dated Diddy decades ago and was likely therefore at least familiar with his freak-offs and other crimes. She was present when, in 1999, allegedly Diddy propelled lead from his hand device into 3 people at a nightclub, which was then allegedly pinned on young rapper Shine, getting him put in prison for 8 years. So suffice to say, J-Lo was pretty close with Diddy, and was possibly even part of protecting him from legal consequence by denying the gat was his. When Diddy's mansion was raided, all sorts of things were recovered, from dangerous tools and illicit substances to the famed 1,000 bottles of baby oil, several toys, and even recorded tapes of his illicit and immoral activities. I could go on about how idiotic it is to both record and then store your crimes, but no one's defending Diddy, and this story is about the power couple themselves. Well, according to Suge Knight, not exactly the most innocent person either, amongst Diddy's many freak-off tapes were several tapes of J-Lo. Now, the details on what was in this footage is pretty hazy. Suge himself said they showed J-Lo doing this and J-Lo doing that, but what this and that are is unknown. That makes it pretty concerning given just what we know happened at these parties. This and that could mean anything from recreational illicit use to harder, not so recreational use, to the conducting of several illicit adult actions, potentially with multiple participants, and in possibly the worst case could show J-Lo forcibly interacting with people at these parties, which would be pretty disturbing. Well, when Diddy's mansion was raided in March, it seems that several of these tapes were recovered. By complete coincidence, this is the last time Ben and Jennifer were thought of as a happy couple, with a distinct lack of affection being noticed by reporters from May to August, when the divorce was finalized. According to Suge Knight, this is no coincidence whatsoever. He believes that Ben Affleck, a powerful and famous man, was likely given or shown a copy of the tapes of J-Lo by some concerned party. Suge seems quite positive that Affleck did in fact see the videos and was troubled by them, but the details are not known. Given that the FBI is involved and is holding the evidence, it likely wasn't strictly legal for Affleck to be able to view this footage in the first place, so it leaves a big question as to how he may have received it. Diddy was a prolific recorder and allegedly recorded most of the depraved things that he coerced, manipulated, and forced other people to do. Much of this was, it's believed, intended as leverage against those people to keep them quiet and compliant. It's very possible that these videos are such leverage, possibly recorded intentionally and orchestrated to be as vile and embarrassing as possible. If so, then in a way these videos may have had their intended effect, to harm J-Lo and destabilize her life once uncovered. However, it's just as likely that these videos show J-Lo doing some pretty reprehensible things of her own will. Things Affleck may not want to be anywhere near or associated with someone who did. It does seem strange that the power couple united after decades of controversy, and right after P. Diddy's home is raided, they end up going through some marital troubles. Now, it was J-Lo who filed for divorce, as far as we can tell, but they were both clearly losing interest, judging by Affleck skipping her birthday and several other incidents. However, we do not know the circumstances the couple was under. It may be that J-Lo herself is going to end up facing criminal charges, and it's better for Ben and their kids for them to be separate. Or maybe Affleck saw something that changed how he viewed her, and she eventually couldn't stand the alienation and filed for divorce. The reporting around this subject has been really strange, with People magazine saying that she was done waiting for Affleck and that he wasn't giving her any signs that he wanted to continue the marriage. Allegedly, they'd been separated since late April. Now, that would seem to put the brakes on the idea that it was the footage that broke them up, but it may still be the case that they separated for one reason and stayed separate for another. The latest drama really starts here though. Ever since people found out about potential illicit video of J-Lo at the peak of her fame and popularity, there's been a clamoring to see it. Of course, with the evidence being held by the FBI, it seems impossible for there to be a leak, as this evidence is likely critical for the full scope of the trial. And yet, there has allegedly been a leak of some truly foul footage involving J-Lo and highly illegal CSA behavior. It's also been alleged that Ben Affleck was well aware of what was going on at the freak-offs and of J-Lo's involvement, which could put a whole new spin on things. So why are some sources stating that Ben Affleck is the source of the leak? It does fit nicely. Innocent husband finds out something horrible about his wife, divorces her, and then in revenge leaks the footage of this horrible thing. Except he didn't divorce her, she divorced him, and there's no reason to believe Affleck was the one behind the leak. If it's true that he knows more than he's let on, it's likely that both Ben and Jen are scrabbling to protect their reputations right now, and that an unrelated marriage dispute could be a good way for at least Affleck to stay out of the situation. But where did the leak come from? Well, several sources are claiming the leak was actually from rapper 50 Cent. It's no secret that 50 hates Diddy with a passion and has even been compiling a catalog of footage and recordings of the worst things Diddy has done, all with the plans of releasing a feature-length documentary sometime in the future. Allegedly, 50 leaked several videos of J-Lo doing some pretty disgusting things well after she and Diddy were apparently broken up. Now, we all know the sort of evil Diddy is, manipulative and coercive, and J-Lo herself has said several times that she was obsessed with him and very unstable at the time. Well, 50 takes this a step farther, alleging that even after their breakup, J-Lo was still obsessed and more than willing to do whatever Diddy wanted. Hence, these horrifying tapes. Some are still questioning whether J-Lo was a willing or coerced participant, and that's a valuable conversation to have, but just because one person is misused doesn't give them the right to misuse others without consequence. Most of this is speculation, as very few details have come to light. We do not have the benefit of hindsight, and we have no idea where the next twist in this story will come from. We have to slowly live through it until the trial is done and details are made public. The questions abound, however. Did the raid on Diddy's mansion lead to illicit footage of J-Lo doing incriminating acts? Well, almost certainly, but was Ben Affleck then shown those tapes, and did that then lead to a souring of their marriage? Or was Ben well aware of the depravity and it was a mutual decision to keep his name out of the limelight? Did Ben Affleck, in a vengeful rage, release the footage to the public, or was it someone else, like 50 Cent or any other number of Diddy haters? We will be following this story very closely as it continues to evolve and develop, and I have to say I'm just dying to know the truth. I just need to know if I can listen to On the Floor guilt-free or if it has to go in the Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, R. Kelly pile of songs.
Jennifer Lopez and Diddy were arrested together, but not for the reason you think. With all the recent controversy Diddy has caused, any name ever attached to him is being scrutinized under a microscope, or their past is being dragged back up and picked apart. And that is exactly what is happening with J-Lo. This hasn't been an easy year for the performer. Long-held speculation that she was getting a divorce from husband Ben Affleck turned out to be true, and now people are once again bringing up her arrest alongside former partner Diddy that happened in the 90s. This unlikely couple might not have dated very long, but they certainly kept celebrity gossip publications busy, but no incident with the two was quite as famous as their night out clubbing right around Christmas of 1999. While partying the night away in Club New York in Manhattan on December 27th, 1999, things quickly took a violent turn. Reported at the time was that in the club, Diddy, J-Lo, Diddy's bodyguard, and another music artist named Shine got in a disagreement that resulted in a fight, eventually escalating to people getting out weapons and firing them, injuring 3. Diddy and J-Lo were not harmed inside the bar and fled the scene taking a car. Forbes reports that the couple were being chased by police, and the New York Post reported that the car ran a red light before being pulled over by the police. It was during this stop that things started going south for the famous couple. Inside the car, police found a stolen weapon, the discovery prompting the stars being taken into custody. Obviously, arresting 2 of the biggest names in music at the time was going to cause a stir, and sure enough, all anyone could talk about was this. Present at the station where the couple was taken was retired NYPD detective Derek Parker. After the event, he spoke to the New York Post, giving them an exclusive look into what it was like in the room that night. He said there were all these high-profile lawyers barricaded in the station house waiting to talk to the desk officer, and further went on to recall that J-Lo was first handcuffed to a pole inside the station and then later held for about 14 hours in detention. Of course, like I'm assuming anyone who just experienced a club uproar and arrest like she did, the retired detective said J-Lo appeared distressed. Thankfully for her, she was released after the 14 hours and cleared of all charges. The Jenny from the Block singer didn't often personally speak on the ordeal. However, she did make one comment about the situation in an interview with Elle, saying it was a complete nightmare from beginning to end, and that she was scared to death in the car and had absolutely no idea what was going on. No one did. Though J-Lo was of course present at the scene, how involved she was is still up in the air. Earlier this year, new details came to light when Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr. filed a civil lawsuit for non-consensual relations and harassment, but it also seemed to potentially reference this 1999 incident as well. It claimed that on the day Homeland Security raided Diddy's home, he displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with using these weapons against people. It went further, saying that Diddy also confirmed to those present that he was responsible for the New York incident with the other rapper Shine. Not only that, but that J-Lo was the one who carried the firearm into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual. One of the victims of the incident, Natanya Rubin, has been outspoken from the start about the events that took place that night. Since the beginning, she has been very clear with her recount of the evening and adamant that Diddy is responsible for the projectile that hit her face. Though J-Lo was cleared of any charges, Diddy wasn't at first, so a trial had to take place that lasted a few weeks. In addition to the incident at the club, prosecutors also alleged that Diddy and his bodyguard tried to bribe the driver of the getaway car $50,000 in exchange for him telling the police the weapon was his. Rubin did testify as one of the witnesses at the trial. During her testimony, she claimed that she saw Diddy pulling out the weapon with his right hand and then very soon after feeling immense pain in her face that later turned out to be caused by the firearm. Of course, you might notice that this would make J-Lo being in possession of the item and handing it to Diddy improbable, but if Rubin insisted she saw him pull it out, but it's not impossible as it could have happened before the altercation began. In the end, Diddy was acquitted along with his bodyguard. The individual that did not get cleared of all charges was Shine. The young rapper was convicted of assault in harming 2 bystanders and sentenced to 10 years in prison. In the end, he only served about 9. Since his release, Shine has taken a very different career approach. In 2009, the man was deported to his home country where his father was actually prime minister. Leaving his rap career behind, he decided to follow in his father's footsteps and got into politics as well. Successfully, I might add. He was voted into the country's House of Representatives in 2020. Though it is over 2 decades after the incident, Natanya Rubin is still fighting for justice. She joined Elizabeth Vargas Reports for an interview earlier in the year in which she shared that she still has 9 fragments of the projectile in her face. She shared further details about the rough night, that at the time and throughout the trial, one of the most important things to her was simply getting back home to her family. A follow-up interview revealed that Rubin was nervous even years later about sharing her story, even going so far as to ask for a deep investigation to be conducted in the event that she does go missing. This was happening right around when everything first hit the fan with all that Diddy stuff, so her fear is not unexpected. She also said in the interview that she wouldn't mind if the case was reopened, even going so far as to say that as long as it didn't cause any health complications, she would be willing to have a doctor remove a part of the 9mm projectile in her face to be used as evidence in court. After learning about what Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. had seen that night, that J-Lo was the one that brought the item in, Rubin seemed more and more on board with reopening the case. She said, "I couldn't bring in a comb. I would absolutely, unequivocally like the case reopened. It needs to be reopened." Diddy has already had a rough year with the legal system after his alleged misdeeds have come to light. New allegations against the music star continue to pop up, and some are quite bizarre, like how he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Combs' lawyer insists he doesn't know where exactly that large number came from, and explained the amount away by saying the man simply buys in bulk, referencing the chain store Costco, claiming that people walk out of there with items bought in large quantities all the time. But Costco was not about to let themselves get roped into this situation and actually came out with a statement that they don't sell baby oil in any US location. It's not yet clear if the December 1999 incident will be re-examined in court as some of the victims wish. The only trial confirmed for the music artist now is the one on May 5th of next year. A gag order has been suggested for it. It would prevent attorneys or prosecutors from discussing anything further about the trial with the media. But what do you think?
In a heart-wrenching moment, Jennifer Lopez is left devastated as Jay-Z betrays her in a way no one saw coming. But that's not all. hidden secrets about J.Lo's past are finally coming to light, and they're more shocking than anything we've ever heard. Why is Jay-Z turning on her now? And what are the dark truths she's been hiding all these years? Stay tuned to find out how this explosive drama unfolds. In an unexpected twist, Jennifer Lopez, one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, was left utterly devastated after someone she trusted, the very lawyer who has stood by Jay-Z's side for years, betrayed her in the worst possible way. And what's worse, this betrayal may have exposed her name in a high-profile legal case she never wanted to be associated with. For those of you who may not be up to speed, here's what you need to know. Earlier this month, a woman filed a civil lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of SA back in 2000 when she was just 13 years old. The lawsuit contains several shocking allegations, and it sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. In the lawsuit, there's a reference to an unnamed individual called Celebrity B, who was allegedly present during the assault. However, the lawyer who filed the case was careful not to name anyone by name, except Jay-Z. And they kept the identity of Celebrity B under wraps, leaving the public speculating about who this mysterious person might be. But in a turn that no one saw coming, Jay-Z's response to the lawsuit, where he calls the allegations part of a false extortion plot, was far less discreet. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Shapiro, may have made a huge slip-up. In his legal filing, Shapiro claimed that Diddy was with none other than Jennifer Lopez on the night of the alleged assault.
You know, she's one of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm a pretty nice guy myself.
Yes, you heard that right. Jay-Z's lawyer, in trying to dismiss the case, may have just exposed J.Lo's name, something that could have serious consequences for her reputation, her career, and her privacy. Until now, Jennifer Lopez's team has remained silent. They didn't need to comment because, until that moment, her name wasn't even associated with the case. No one connected J.Lo to this lawsuit. But now, things are very different. Thanks to Alex Shapiro's legal filing, J.Lo's name has been dragged into this scandal, and it's a situation no one expected. Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs dated from 1999 to 2001.
People didn't really take it as a serious relationship, but we really loved each other.
Their relationship was one of the most talked about celebrity romances of the time, drawing significant media attention. And now, with these new allegations, JLo might be more involved than we